Welcome, and this is the Coffee Conversation. Wake up, South Africa. My name is Dean Haystack, and I'm just a guy that gives a damn. Today with us we have Snowy.
How's it, bro?
How's it, Snowy? Okay, so Snowy, the reference point I have to that is a little white fluffy dog from the Tintin series. So you're not a white fluffy dog.
No.
You are a coloured.
Yeah, I am.
Is using the term coloured offensive?
No, I
Not
call
if-
myself a coloured.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in South Africa, we got the shirt black and white, red blood. But what it means actually is black and white, everything in between. We don't want to do an injustice to South Africans by keeping it just about black and white. We have to make it inclusive. So here you are, a coloured on my show, or on this show.
Yeah, sort of in between black and white. That's what a lot of people think. Coloureds are just like in the middle. And that's what a lot of coloureds think. So, no, what do you think when you hear the word coloured? What do you see?
When I hear the word coloured, knee-jerk reaction is there's two worlds that I see. The one world is gangster. The other world is church. It's like the two different environments and that might be stereotype, but that's my initial kind of thought. Coloured, gangsters, church members. And there's like these two different worlds that exist there.
Yeah.
As a coloured, do you think that you are one people? No, not do you think. Is your experience as a people, or is it segregated, or is there different types of coloureds? Explain coloured to me from your understanding.
Okay, let's start with the gangsterism, the church thing. Those are obviously two problems. You know, religion is a problem to us because, we get influenced so easily. The gangsterism thing, it's sort of a worldwide problem, you know. You can't just say coloureds are gangsters. I mean, there's a lot of coloureds that aren't gangsters, you know.
Sure.
It's just that here in South Africa, a lot of us are, you know.
Is it that a lot of you are, or is it that there's a lot of news about the gangster violence in specific areas?
There is.
The main gangster area in Cape Town, or in the Cape area is?
You see, as a coloured, I should probably know that.
Okay, so you're not fully informed, much like white
No,
people.
I mean-
we can't comment on all of it.
I mean, listen to my accent. This is generally not how coloured people speak. So,
Okay.
in the coloured community, they would call me, it's either banana or coconut, you know.
The coloured community call you banana or coconut?
Yeah, because like when you walk up to a generally you would hear the "Awebi bro vatj," and that's weird because like let me tell you about an experience. Quite recently, I went into a store looking for something. The guy that assisted me was white. It's an old dude. So I walk in and he asked me like, "Can I help you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm looking for what do you call those things you wrap the cables with? You know, like computer cables. Oh, whatever. I digress." And all of a sudden, this dude is like, "Yeah, but was it for your cool goede?" And I'm sort of going like, "Why are you talking like that? This is not how white people speak. Where are you from?" Forgetting that I'm a coloured and generally that accent is associated with coloureds. I'm like, "I don't understand what you're saying. Where's the cable wrap?" And he's still continuing. Now, I don't know. Is he trying to make me feel comfortable? Or is that prejudice? What is it?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we'd have to speak to the fellow. It was stupid.
Yeah, he's an idiot. I'm not going to lie.
Stupid. You know, you get ignorance and you get willing ignorance.
I mean,
I don't know.
When
I don't know.
he heard me speaking, he was also like, "Oh, where's this bloke from?"
Where are you from? What is your background? Because in the coloured communities, I would assume that you've got your lines from the Khoi and the San. Then you get some people who might have married or had a child between a black and a white person, or a black and a coloured person. Or what is your affiliate? Where do you fit in the coloured community?
I fit into the coloureds who have identity crises. Because, let me tell you this, I don't even know my grandmother's name.
Okay.
Or grandfather. Never met them.
Your mom and dad, if I may ask?
Coloureds. Divorced.
Divorced coloureds. So they were coloureds, and you don't know the ancestry where it comes from there?
No, not at all. It was never discussed. Never considered it that important. And you can see why they call me a coconut now.
Yeah, but you're just Snowy, man.
Yeah.
You're just Snowy.
I try to be human before I'm anything else.
I think that's important.
It's very important. That's what we lack in this country. We always sort of go like, when something big happens, who did it? Was he black? Was he white? Was he colored? Was he Indian? And you sort of never go like, a human did that.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember the one time I was in the airport and there was a person on the wrong side of customs without a passport.
Yeah.
And the police were there, and they had this lady, a black lady, and there were two white cops, and they were being very sensitive because I think it was around about 1999, 2000. So obviously there was a lot of sensitivity. We still haven't, but even then we obviously hadn't formulated how do we interact with each other on these terms. We're now somebody who's done something wrong. I'm previously the white cop who used to beat these people potentially, I don't know. And now I have to deal with somebody who's on the wrong side of the law, and I'm doing it in a public place where there's people, and international at Joburg Airport. And I'm going through to pick up somebody at the airport, and I hear this commotion, and what I hear is, "It's because I'm black. It's because I'm black." And she's shouting and screaming in that accent, and because that's who she is. And I'm thinking, I don't know what the heck's going on here. But and then I asked, and they said, no, the lady's on the other side. She doesn't have a passport. She's not allowed there, and she's got to be moved out. And it's like, it's not because you're black, it's because you don't have a passport.
Yeah, you messed up.
You messed up. And then you get on the other side, you get, it's because I'm white, you don't know. No, it's because you've done something wrong. A guy's walking down the street and he's behaving like an absolute moron.
Yeah.
And you go, it's not because of the color of your skin, it's because you're acting like a moron. And there isn't really a lot of scope for that type of honesty to acknowledge that bad behavior is bad behavior.
Yeah, it's human behavior. I mean, we do bad things, all of us. I mean, I know some. Let me tell you this. Growing up, I had the idea white people are the good ones, black people are the bad ones.
Okay.
Colors are in the middle. And then,
Okay.
it's a mixture of black and white. That's why I'm brown. And when you talk about the apartheid thing, well, obviously that happened. And we grow up with this idea that colors were even excluded from that. We were even excluded from the struggle that the black people had.
So
we didn't have the privileges of the white people. And in today's life, it's sort of still the same. You go on the news, you have black this, white that, and you're sort of like, what about us? What are we doing? Where's the colors? I mean, we see Trevor Noah every now and then, but can we really consider that dude a colored? It's my favorite comedian, yeah, but
Why do you say, can we really consider him a colored?
Because I think colored is a culture.
Okay. What is the culture?
Now, there's the problem. The culture differs from literally neighborhood to neighborhood. Where I live, it's a fairly middle-class neighborhood.
Okay.
You got a bunch of spoiled kids on drugs. That's about it. That's about all that happens. And you can move like 3 kilometers away and go to those coloreds. And they are outright just savage, And then you move 3 kilometers further and you meet this group of coloreds and you're just like, no, what the hell is happening here? I'm confused now because all these people are different, Now we can't identify. Who do we actually identify as? What is the characteristic that is similar in every colored? Is it there or is it not? Is it still to be discovered or are we searching for something that doesn't exist? And there's the problem amongst coloreds.
You don't have an answer to that?
No, I don't. We don't even have unity.
I had a conversation with Piwe the other day, and we're discussing, there's a mold that I grew up in. There's a mold that Piwe grew up in.
Yeah.
Okay. And both of us have, in some ways, broken aspects of those molds to try and discover something else. And it's like a wasteland. It's actually like a wasteland. It's like, who are you? Can I say that I'm proud to be white? I was born white. Why are you proud of what you're born? It's not something to be proud of. It's incidental. I can say, though, that I'm very grateful that I was born white because born in 1971, we were in privilege. And I'm grateful for that. And there's many things that I'm grateful for. And the privilege wasn't just the fact that we had opportunity. It was many, many other factors as well. Because it's not one thing that causes success. It's a whole lot of things. But what we did have was an opportunity to, if we could achieve, we had a vent and somewhere to go, which is what the coloreds, the blacks, the Indians, etc., didn't have. And that was the biggest problem. So we had somewhere to go. So I'm very grateful that I'm born white, but I can't say that I'm proud to be white. We formed apartheid. That's not very, and maybe they can argue, but the original intention and blah, blah. Yeah, but original intention, a road to hell is paved with good intentions. How did it manifest? It manifested in oppression and all sorts of stuff. And yes, we managed to walk away from it. But as a white person, I can't say that I'm proud of it. Yet we also don't necessarily have an identity. So maybe the wasteland that you're experiencing is actually an opportunity to create a world that you want.
Yeah.
Something that is not limited by either identity of gangster or religion, or neither of the two, but no identity. Maybe there's an opportunity to form, and as all South Africans, we have that opportunity that at the end of the wasteland, we can actually find the oasis. Does that relate to you in any way?
It does, and it makes me think of something. What it comes down to is we need unity, right? Not just among coloreds, but I mean coloreds, blacks, whites, Indians, whatever. But now, how do you get such an angry people to unite with people that oppressed us? You know, like, how do you do that? Because there are a lot of angry people. I mean, most of the people in this building were already alive when apartheid was still a thing, you know? And then we grew up with this idea that maybe we're still being oppressed, whatever. So how do you convince these people you're not actually, the opportunities are out there? I'm not saying it is.
Do you feel like one of them? Do you feel that anger?
Anger?
Sounds like Dr. Phil.
No.
I don't mean to sound like Dr. Phil. What I want to do is just explore, if you're feeling it, well, let's not fix you, but let's maybe explore what it would require for you to work your way through in order to.
I'm not angry. That's the thing.
All right.
And I think that's what makes me different.
Is
Because
the
I'm not.
Is the concern for those that are angry?
Yeah.
I think there's a hateful few.
Very much.
Yeah, there's a hateful few. What I do see is you got like these guys over here and they shout and scream. The thing about hateful is that the voice is very, very loud. Those that aren't hateful or extremely fearful, the voice is a lot softer, and very often that leads to the majority being silent.
Yeah.
We don't want the confrontation. We
Detachment.
shy away from the confrontation because we don't like the confrontation, and very often we don't see the need for the confrontation. And very often there isn't a need for a confrontation. And maybe that silent majority is the hope that we have, and that's why we do the show, to say, I really, really believe that if this is South Africa, here's the rocky, hard, thorny, unfertile ground of the hateful few, but there's this massive area in between that all we need to do is just plant some seeds and say, Snow, okay, yes, you're a coloured, and yes, you're a male, and yes, you're that age, but primarily you're a guy. You're a human.
I'm a human being.
And let's just interact with each other, and let's just find, and let's ask stupid, hard, difficult questions, and be clumsy in the whole thing.
Do you think it's fair if I'm to say that I don't see myself as colored, I just see myself as human? Would it be unfair towards the coloreds that are struggling more than I am? Because I'm privileged colored. I'm not rich or anything. I'm privileged because I have food on my table every night.
Yeah.
But would I be then considered a backstabber for saying I'm not a colored, I'm a human?
Could you, maybe all of us consider that primarily we're all human, but I'm white. And primarily I'm human, but I'm coloured. But that's incidental. So that we don't alienate people based on colour of skin.
Now, that's a message we should be pushing.
To say that I don't see colour,
No.
What, are you blind?
That's just ignorance.
That's just ignorance.
That's
so
ignorance.
I think we want to acknowledge the different colours.
Yeah.
But it's not primary, maybe? I don't know. How do you feel? I mean, when you see...
People consider it primary.
Is that the problem?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It is there.
It's there.
It does exist. There are stereotypes. There are reputations. But there's an individual in front of you first.
Before anything else.
What are the struggles that you have marching your way down the journey of life as a coloured?
Prejudice, of course.
From who?
Everyone, not only white and black, from coloreds as well. No, I'm sounding like a traitor here.
No, not at all. We get it. We get it all. I mean, it's okay. Let me not go there. Let me rather ask this: the prejudice that you get from black people is what?
That I am in a better position than they are.
Because of the colour of your skin.
Because of the color of the skin. Because I'm not black enough to have their struggle. It's almost like a lot of black people are selfish with their struggle. It's like, don't take our struggle away from us. It's ours. You can't be part of this. You're a colored.
Okay.
You are privileged. You are almost white. So shut up.
Okay.
And the white people go, you're not white enough. You're part of the blacks. And then you get like a load of colored saying, you're not colored, you're actually black. And you go like, okay, so where do I go? You know?
So where's this voice coming from? Is this a voice that you hear in your interactions with people in civil society? Or is it primarily from what you get in media, discussions through families? Or what is the voice? Where is it from?
I think this is a voice that I can't say because I can't blame the media. You don't even see us in the media unless we're killing each other.
So it's conspicuous by its absence.
Yeah.
So there's like not even. So when they say the people or our people, you feel included or excluded?
I feel excluded personally.
Do you think that's an experience in the colored communities in general?
Yeah. You know, you always have that hood famous colored. Happens to be me in my neighborhood.
Okay.
It just comes back to the whole coconut thing as well. As soon as you're different, as soon as you try to be different, then you're a coconut or something else.
Who calls you a coconut? Is it
Coloreds.
just colored to your face?
Yeah, they would.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the people that know me by now, well, they sort of accept it. Like, okay, this is him. He's a strange guy. But if I go out, they hear me talking, things I talk about. Also, if the way that I talk to a white person and the way that I talk to a colored is different.
How do you talk to a colored? Imagine
like
that I've got thicker hair, any hair
Okay.
at all, and a slightly darker skin.
Ask me a question, I will respond in a more normal way. Of
How was work today?
It was actually quite duidelijk. I enjoyed it. Did a show with Dean Napiwe. We had the camera crew there and what. But you know,
You more comfortable in that space?
no.
No. So you're doing it to fit.
I'm just making it more comfortable conversation.
Accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Geez, like I think you've got it worse than white people. No, it's,
Some would say, some would disagree. You know.
And the road through? Do you see a road through for coloureds, or is there not a road for coloureds because there aren't really a coloured community?
Yeah, there's a road for coloreds, but in the near future, maybe not, unless we unite
As a people?
as a people. I don't mean as a colored people. I mean as South Africans.
As South Africans. You know, maybe unity is a stretch.
It's a
Maybe
far stretch.
It's a stretch. Why don't we start? Not why don't we start? It sounds like I'm Dr. Phil again, and I'm not. My thoughts, because I thought about unity. One of the things we wanted to bring into the idea was unity, and unity is a stretch. We don't have to actually have unity, but cooperation.
Cooperation, yeah.
Cooperation, understanding, making room for, getting to know. And I always tell the story. Like I went to school in Johannesburg, where there were white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, there were Greeks, there were Italians, there were Jews, there were Porras, there were Lebs, there was a Yugoslav, there was an Afrikaner. We all in the same school until 1989. And then in 1990, blacks joined the schools as well for the very first time in 1990. But I didn't experience that as a scholar. I experienced that as a coach at the school.
Yeah.
But we all knew how to cooperate, although we're different. So the Greeks marry the Greeks, the Jews marry the Jews, the Lebs marry the Lebs in general, and you do get breakaways from that. But in general, they're different cultures. But we know how to cooperate. We don't interfere. We don't mess with the Jews who want to have Shabbat on a Friday night. We
Why
understand
not?
it.
Well, why not?
Why don't we mess with them?
Yeah.
No, that's their culture.
Okay.
So they don't go out on a Friday night. We always used to have in the old days in Joburg, like Thursday night was maid's night off. So the restaurants were all full. All the Jews went to the restaurants, and we just knew that was going to happen. And that's fine. That's the space that you're in. Off you go. We don't have a problem with it. We know we're not going to see them on Friday night, but we'll jewel on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then the Italians have a very different way of doing things, and they're loud, and then you go to the Greeks' house, and you mix. And I mean, I remember sitting there like a little soft white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. All of a sudden, I'm exposed to these Mediterranean cultures, and they are a culture shock to me. Because we're very conservative in our home. When I say conservative, very mild. Not necessarily conservative, we're very mild.
Yeah.
Knife and fork, the English whole culture. You go to the Greeks' house and they're throwing bread at each other and they break it. And their culture. So we don't have unity necessarily, but we do have cooperation.
Okay, but there's identity, you know?
Explain?
White Jews, white Italians, white this, white that. What do you have by coloreds? I mean, a lot of people would say we're just a product of slavery. So you have a lot of coloreds, let's say Mossel Bay. Italians mess with the Khoi or whatever. Now you have those coloureds. You have the Cape Malays. You have those type of coloureds. And, you know, whatever. I'm looking at where we are situated in the Western Cape, in George, specifically. I don't know what my ancestry is at all. Well, apart from me not knowing my grandmother and grandfather. I don't know what came before that at all. I don't know who I'm a product of, you know. So who do I stand with? Let's say a civil war breaks out in South Africa and it's white against black. Where do you think the colours would go?
You tell me.
I don't know. Because a lot of coloureds think they're more related to the white people. So a lot of them will go to white. And there's a lot thinking
Why
we're
would they
more
think
black.
that? Why would they think that? Is that because whites are in a more favourable position? They would rather associate themselves with whites because they have more privilege.
That's definitely something to
And
take into
culturally,
account.
is it more accessible? I understand that a lot of the religion in the coloured cultures, there's quite a
Yeah.
big religious coloured
Christianity.
community in terms, the Christianity. That's a very similar Judeo-Christian value system that the Protestants, when they left the oppressive administrations, if you like, of the church. They left, they went to explore the new lands and stuff, and they brought a lot of that here, where they had a specific value system that a lot of the coloureds seem to adhere to as well. And a lot of the coloureds that I see adhering to that actually seem to do very well. Is that one of the reasons why? Because the culture that, and it's also the Jewish. The Jews around, do you know how many Jews there are in the world? I think there's 15 million.
I know one Jew.
Yeah.
He happens to be a coloured.
Really?
Yeah. His name is Yohanabas.
Yohanabas.
Yeah.
He's a coloured Jew.
Yeah, I was mind blown.
In South Africa.
I was mind blown. I was like, are you serious?
Look, the Jews have got a huge tradition in Africa. So it shouldn't be so...
Where are they? I don't know where they are.
Ethiopia, and they've got a very big Jewish community. I don't know, but the Jews, there's only about 15 million Jews in the world. Now, the land of Israel is smaller than the Kruger National Park,
Yeah.
and there's only a few million Jews that are there. I think 6 million Jews that live there. And how did we get onto Jews?
I have no idea.
I don't know. And the religious. Okay, so
yeah.
there's a lot. The Jews do very well wherever they are in the world because they have a way of doing things. They have a culture that is formed around this Jewish Christian, or not Jewish Christian, this Jewish value system from the Old Testament. You can be a Jew anywhere in the world. On a Saturday, what we call a Saturday, they call the Sabbath, they do the same reading around the world.
Yeah.
And they have discussions which are different, but it's based on the same reading. So I can now, on Sunday, fly to Israel, and I can have a conversation with the Jew there about what I studied. It was the same thing he studied, and he's got a different perspective. So they have this kind of cooperation linked through the religion, and let's not mention all the other stuff. They are a people. They're probably one of the only groups in the world that are actually a people in that sense. The coloureds don't seem to have that except within their Christian community.
Yeah.
And in the gangster community. They then have a language that they relate on certain
it's
terms and conditions.
Very, very organized. That's one thing I admire about the whole number gang or whatever. They're very organized.
And then there's a whole wasteland in between.
Yeah,
Of those that
why
are
can't they
neither
just-
religious nor gangsters. They're just trying to find their way in society and find an identity.
Because we detach, because a lot of us think like, I don't want to be black, but I also don't want to be white, so I'm just not going to participate at all. I'll just be that dude inside and just... While they kill each other, we're just gonna sit back and watch.
The wasteland of the coloured community in South Africa. To find a way through the wasteland. Thank you for listening. My name is Dean Haystack, and I'm just a guy who gives a damn.
I am Snowy and I'm just a guest.